All right, welcome back to a new episode. I'm Alexis, and I'm here with Kelly Berry. And today we have a very special guest, Kevin Hunter.
Kevin Hunter!
How we doing?
Oh my gosh. When we started this podcast, Alexis and I both said that you were very, very top on our list for guests.
Aw,
so we're so excited. We're so excited
He's a very busy
excited.
man.
He's what?
He's a very busy man.
You are.
You know.
I am. I'm everywhere. Everywhere.
You are everywhere. Last time I talked to you, you were going to Montana, and then you were in like South Carolina, right? You went to like Hilton Head area.
Yeah. So we've been all over.
All over the place.
And got to ride some out in Yellowstone area.
Oh my gosh,
which was awesome.
Yeah,
Dreams.
It was awesome.
We're gonna have to get into that story because I find that so fun. So
Oh,
tell everybody who you are and a little bit about your backstory.
Okay. Well, I'm Kevin Hunter. I created Hunter Performance horses almost 30 years ago. Time flies, by the way.
It sure
And
does.
I was started as a reiner. Showed reining horses. Showed foundation quarter horses. Did a little cow work. And then backstory. I went to UGA.
Go Dogs.
Thought I wanted to be a vet. Realized I really didn't. I really wanted to work with horses.
Don't we all?
Wanted to be happy.
Yeah.
So I was in the business world for just a little bit. Did horses on the side until I got so busy with horses. I said, that's what I'm going to do. And so that's kind of where it started. And I rode every kind of horse, that was out there that people let me ride and started a lot of horses. And that's kind of where my forte was, starting young horses, working with young horses, had a lot of babies. I have a stud horse and just, I love the young horses because they're not messed up yet. And you can tell a lot too about the young horses, how they're going to be sometimes. And, kind of how they're born is how they're going to be a lot of times. But you can mold some of that. And so I did that and then showed a good bit early on. But I have 4 kids and I needed to work hard. So educated 4 kids. And so I was working pretty hard and I was riding 8 or 9 a day. When I first started, I brought them to my place and just put a foundation on them and a little, I know this is about horsemanship, but try to lay some of that groundwork, be kind but firm. Mm-hmm. And they're a lot like kids, young horses and horses in general. And if there's a line, they kind of want to go up to that line, mm-hmm. and then they want to step over the line. And so you want to kind of get them behind that line a little bit. That's usually when I got a call.
Yeah.
When that horse is way beyond the line, and then that's usually when I get a call. So I've had to deal with a lot of tough horses and a lot of horses maybe a little misunderstood, maybe wrong approach on them. And I think that's important too, horsemanship wise. You need to try to read your horse, and as time goes, that gets better.
Yeah.
Gets easier.
Yeah.
It's hard for people that are just starting out to say, what's this horse telling me? But after a little bit, just a look, just your posture, those kind of things horses pick up on mm-hmm. so much faster than we do because they're a flight animal.
Yeah.
So they're going to think, is that friend or foe? Do I need to run?
Yeah.
So you got to kind of deal with that. But, but again, horses, sometimes they're going to do what you let them do. Mm-hmm. So if you let them pull you around, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So, and you don't have to be, don't have to be tough. You just have to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's where most people have a hard time with, is being consistent every day, and most people can't do every day.
Yeah.
You got a job, you got all that kind of stuff. But that's been, being consistent. It's kind of like when I let my dog out every morning, I go to feed. He knows he's waiting on me. He knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Horses are the same.
Yeah.
Routine. When they know what's coming, it's not a big deal to them.
Yeah.
But if you change that routine up, sometimes it can be a little, they just have to get used to it.
Yeah. And I think you bring up such a great point, and I'm going to go off script a little bit because you bring that consistency is just so important. And I know that's something, this podcast is really dedicated to adult amateurs. And that's something that a lot of people have a lot of struggles with because, and quite frankly, you deal with them the most. And people have jobs and lives and families, but they also want to enjoy their life and their hobbies. And, and I think that and we'll get into this, but Alexis and I bought babies at the same time, and you have trained both of them and all the things. But I think that, kind of that acceptance part of being an adult amateur is realizing that if you're going to, you can't do it all. You just really can't. So,
and my deal though, I always say you need balance in life, family. I've seen some people, amateurs, they go so much one way and they let this other part of their life struggle.
Yeah.
And so I'm all about, we're put here to be, a little more balanced, but if you're going to work horses, work them days in a row, if you can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or if you can do days in a row, you can kind of make some progress, especially in the young ones,
Yeah, for sure. And so just to give a little bit of backstory of how everybody's relationship, how we met you and started working with you, I will never forget, I have a thoroughbred. I have a red-headed thoroughbred that was really, really difficult. And I called Kevin in a really, really low point in me and Sonny's relationship because he had, I had hired a shipper, and the shipper was not the best, and he flipped over in the trailer. And so it was a super traumatizing experience. And I never forget, I called Kevin because my mother-in-law told me that you were the best. My mother-in-law had worked with you, and I called him in tears, I think. And I was like, please, I had nowhere else I didn't know where else to go. I had nowhere else to turn. And you had, didn't know me from Adam, and you called me back and you were like, okay, let's do this. And we worked with Sonny on the trailer, I think for a year. And it was
loading and unloading and taking him and
and I think Kevin was truly training me just as much as he was training Sonny. And that is such a huge part of this. And so when we first started our relationship, it was, you were in the hunter community, hunter jumper community, you were cast as a cowboy. And I was
He's the cowboy. Everybody
the
called
cowboy.
Kevin the cowboy.
Yes, that
I don't know if
everybody
you like
calls.
that term or not.
Yeah, how do you feel about that term? Are you?
That's fine. No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I wish I was a better cowboy, really.
Okay.
That's. I wish I'd grown up with a rope in my hand.
Yeah.
But I didn't. But I'll take it.
Yeah.
I wear cowboy boots and a buckle, and I ride in a Western saddle.
That's
There you
right.
And it's funny because a lot of those, and even your horses, and but a lot of times I'd start all these young ones in a Western saddle, and the people always say, "Gosh, you look so good in a Western saddle."
Yeah.
And I get that all the time and stuff. But I would say Cowboy's good.
Yeah.
I have cows. I've got cows now.
I
So
know.
cows.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I was going to say, you're kind of living the pseudo retired life now. You moved to Madison about, a year ago?
About a year ago, at a year. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and ever since then, our lives have fallen apart and crumbled beneath us.
Our horses miss you.
Our horses
Yes.
and we miss you.
Well, yeah.
But
we just need to work on that.
No,
for sure.
I mean, and I think, it's so interesting, and I commend you so much. We've had a relationship for years and years now, and it's been, you've been such an inspiration to me because you are very dedicated. You're very dedicated not only to, your job, but your clients. You're really passionate about, making sure that you take care of your clients. And I know that when you were originally talking about possibly, and it's not even that you really decided to go into retirement, you just wanted some time off because you were really
still riding 8 horses a day.
I mean, so many horses a day. And, you were telling me I'm getting home at, after dark and, I'm up, early in the morning. But, so of course, everybody was really sad to see you go, but I also really understood like where you were coming from and you had built such an amazing legacy
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And so
that's nice.
Yeah, but I really do think it's been really inspiring watching you. And, I know that it's everybody that has met you or you've worked with, their animals. I mean, you really do have a gift. It is a gift that is, a lot of people don't understand or they'll never know like what that is. It's you are like a horse whisperer and it's pretty amazing.
Yes.
Well, it's just, and I appreciate that. You're very kind and I feel the same about you guys too. It was a blessing and and even, a lot of clients, they become really good friends.
Yeah.
And we're trying to work through issues and problems and stuff, but it's not just about the horses. About relationships and stuff too.
Yeah.
And the horse whisperer thing, it's just about if you hang out with enough horses and enough different horses. And I think that was kind of cool for me because, early on I was just riding anything, years ago, even though I'm a quarter horse guy. But it's funny. I kind of started working, I don't know if Roger Brown over off of Wood Road.
Yeah.
He had a whole bunch of Welch cross ponies that I broke for him. And he was very kind and I learned a lot from those ponies. And from then on, I never advertised. I never did anything.
Yeah.
It was just, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And, but from there, then I got into the, I've ridden more thoroughbreds and warm bloods and, and I've done fjords and, walking horses and Pasafinos and just all kind of stuff and Arabs, a lot of Arabs, national show horses and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I love my quarter horses,
yeah.
but it's good because when you work with those, they all have different dispositions, different temperaments, and it just shows you can't approach every horse the same way.
Yeah.
You can't put, and I think, again, back to horsemanship, it's kind of a pressure and release deal. You hear people say that. You want pressure till they do what you want, and then you leave them alone.
Yeah.
So they can figure it out. On a thoroughbred or an Arab, you only need just, the pressure at a 1.
Yeah.
You don't need a 10.
Yeah.
And sometimes people go to a 10 on a sensitive horse, and that's when you start running problems.
Yeah.
Start having problems with those and stuff too.
Not to continue talk about Sunny, who I love and loads fine now, but when I also really knew that there was a problem talking about pressure is that I had someone else try to load him and they put a tie down, like from a truck. They put a tie down behind him on either side, and they're literally like ratchet strapping him in. And I'm like, this is, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, stop. Like, this is not right. Someone's going to get hurt. Like they're always
playing your horse.
Right.
Step over backwards and stuff.
So, that's something about you that I find, really amazing. And I had this in our list of questions, but I'm jumping around a little bit because it's just perfect timing because, I've worked with you a lot and I've worked with a lot of different people and how they discipline horses or train horses or whatever. Everybody has their own style.
Right.
And I have, I've seen, the ratchet strap to you working with Sunny and not raising your voice, not hitting him. You're not being aggressive now. And that is pretty incredible. And he, like I said, and I think that's where the horse whisperer aspect comes in because a lot of the time when people learn about, and you speak to this too, learn about disciplining horses, it's just yank on them, hit them. they're big, let's just hit them, whatever. And that's just not your mentality.
No, no. I always go back to, you just want to win, but you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
You just want them to do what you want them to do and then leave them alone.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to have a little patience with that.
Yeah.
As far as trailer load, you just want to be able to drive them a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you can teach them to drive before you get into that. So I'm not pulling. As soon as you pull on a thoroughbred or one that doesn't want to get on a trailer, they're going to pull back, hit their head on top of the trailer, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it's just kind of a fine line of trying to read what are they telling you.
Yeah.
And then lead, because, it used to be somebody would call me and have a problem with their horse. And I would show up at a barn and I say, well, go get your horse. And they think that I'm watching the horse. I'm not watching the horse. I'm watching the person who's going to get the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the horse comes out and the horse is in front of them, and then the horse wants to go eat grass with them and wants to do all these things, it's not the horse, it's the person. And so that person just needs to learn, when I have them in hand, I'm leader. If I'm walking and my horse is ahead of me, who's leading?
Yeah.
The horse is leading.
I know.
He needs to be right here. And it's being consistent. Every time I go because training starts when you go get your horse. It doesn't start when you ride your horse.
Yeah.
So training is going to start right there. And then some of those things that they try when you're riding will kind of go away.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but Oldenburg mares, 4-year-old Oldenburg mares were, they would always, the ones that I've worked, in years past, they always want to test you. They always want to go. And I would say, let's go to that corner over there. And they would do everything they could not to go to that corner.
Yeah.
And they want to pick a fight.
Yeah.
And I would not fight. I'm just going to keep asking.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep asking. And I'm going to get her to that corner. If it takes me 15 minutes, I'm going to get to the corner. And then guess what? I'm going to do tomorrow.
Going back to the
corner. I'm going to the corner.
Yeah.
I'm going to the corner. And by the end of the week, we're going to the corner.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to build on those little things and not blow up at your horse.
Yeah.
Now, I won't say, now sometimes a horse needs a little, if they're going to try to bite me or kick me, they don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
They don't do that. But that's usually not going to happen. And usually if it does, it'll happen once. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
Just because, of course, I'm going to be ready. They do it the first time. But most of the time, horses aren't going to do that. But you'll run across some of those. I've had some rescue horses that have been pretty tough.
Yeah. And do you find do you think that comes from like trauma for them, or do you think
I think it's a lack of, some of the toughest horses I've ever had were orphan foals. Orphan foals, they didn't have mama to teach them space issues and respect issues. And so having another horse put some respect on a horse is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
I brought a little pony one time, a trainer there, Alpharetta, and she had this pony who was pretty rank, a little Welsh cross again. And I said, I need to bring her to the place and I need to ride on her a little bit because she wanted to buck big time. And so I brought her and I thought I'm just going to turn her out with my little mare that I have, little quarter horse mare, and that mare will help her out. Well, in about 10 minutes, look out, and that little pony's chasing my mare around.
Oh, my gosh.
What the heck? So I said, next. So then I put my gelding in with her. And that pony tried one time, and my gelding kind of double-barreled her. And so when she came to get her, she couldn't believe the difference in that little pony.
That's amazing.
And its attitude. But I didn't have to do it. I let the horse do it. And again, that's kind of horsemanship.
Yeah.
You want to try to treat a horse like a horse. That's kind of how they don't know English stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, we can kind of treat them, kind of like, whether it's a look or moving their feet, is a big thing too.
Yeah.
The horses being naughty.
Being a part of the herd and how, teaching them as another horse would teach them.
Yeah. And I hear a lot of times, it is a partnership. but you got to have a leader.
Yeah.
Because if you're equal, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody that's kind of leading your relationship. You got to have a leader. Going on, or you don't get anything done.
I will say with Ivan, he went out with a really just sweet, docile thoroughbred, and he is the boss, and he is gonna, when it's time to get food in the morning or at night or whenever he comes in, he was the first at the gate, and he was the first to run the other horse off, and all this stuff. And he recently moved, and now he's in a pasture with my older warm blood gelding. And, they kind of had a little come to Jesus at first. And I will tell you, Bugsy, my older warm blood. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, I lost you just a little bit. There you go. She's back. Yeah.
My older warm blood, I will tell you, double barrel kicked him, and he is no longer, and Ivan is no longer first at the gate. He is respectful. He stands back. Bugsy goes in first, and then Ivan is allowed to go up. And I was like, one horse taught him the respect that another couldn't, because he was just a sweeter, he just let him get away with it. And now just the difference is exactly what you say, like be the leader.
Well, I even remember when Ivan and Ollie got the mare, and how the dynamic, they got turned out with a mare, and the dynamic, and you were working with them at that time, and I was like, Ollie like had a hard time with it. He started misbehaving and acting weird, and you were like, this can happen. And I was like, it was really a new thing for me. You were like, her dynamic is a big deal. And so that's really, really interesting.
You good?
Make sure we are okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
And I think, you started working with both Ivan and Ollie pretty much around the same time. I think there was like a 3-month gap, maybe.
Yeah. Well, you got Ollie first and had started working with Kevin right away. And then
it was like,
it took me a few months to decide to buy a 2-year-old.
Yeah. And I think that, that's a topic that we talk about. We've talked about before, is that when I even decided to, I think I even texted you before, and I was like, hey, I'm about to get this 3-year-old. I just want to make sure I can get on your schedule, because like that's going to be a huge, like, a big point. Like I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do this on my own. And I think as an adult amateur, you've worked with so many people that have bought babies, and you're really the foundation of them. I mean, you're the foundation of both of ours.
Right.
So, I know you said that you started working with young horses in the beginning of your career. And I think is that something that you really enjoy still? Is that something that it's like a big, because I think you were talking about getting another horse, right?
Yes, I am. And it's I have 2 old horses right now, 2 older. I had them both as babies. One's 28. One's 24.
Wow.
They're both reining horses that I trained, and we went and won some things on, and one of them's still a stud horse, and he is, just a great mind, both of them. And of course, my older horse, he's kind of a movie star. He's been in The Walking Dead and just different things. So he's done. So he can do anything that you want. And even my stud horse, back in the days when I was really riding him, you could tie him to the fence and put a mare on both sides. He'd never make a peep.
Wow.
Because he was trained as a young horse, to respect and, that kind of thing. And especially stud horses, you need to really, really lay the foundation on those early on and just ride them, just ride them and get them in different, because I think I probably rode him maybe 8 or 9 times in the round pen, and then I was out. Just out riding him in pastures and cows and all kind of stuff, water, and it just makes them better. Or at least you can do that when they're younger, get them out and around for sure. But so I do love the babies, and the reason that I kind of semi-retired, my wife retired, and we have 6 going on 7 grandbabies.
Yeah.
So we kind of wanted to be a little bit closer to them. So now we're kind of there. And so I kind of took I've taken almost a year to kind of figure out what my next step will be, you know. And as you get older, it's a kicker. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
You know, you feel those, when I was thrown in fences early on and, you know, horses roll on you and all that kind of stuff. You feel that when you get a little bit older.
Yeah.
And I know when I know when it's going to get cold. I know when it's going to get rain, you know, because my ankle and my knee and stuff. But I've been fortunate. And again, knock on wood, but I've never had, anything bad. You know, you get some people that get broken up, especially working with young horses. And that's what would just wear me out so much. I'm not just riding 8 horses. I'm working an hour with a horse that's not broke or that wants to buck. And every one of them, after a while, this arm right here, you know, whether you're just lunging or you're trying to get up, you know, it just kind of beats you up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'm going to take just a few months and just kind of see. I'm not saying I don't. Yeah, I think it's good too.
Yeah.
You know, I think you come back to appreciate things sometimes when you get away from it.
And you have a different perspective.
I do. You know, and I can go any way. You know, I might do some clinics again, or I might do some. I might, go find some and make some horses here.
Yeah.
Just to move this and that, and but I do love the babies.
Yeah.
Because they're so smart. I mean, you can, most people think you can't teach the young ones anything, but you can teach them everything that you can teach the older horses.
Yeah.
You just do it in smaller increments, time wise.
Yeah.
But you can teach them to get on trailers, and you can teach them. And boy, when you do that, you got a whole lifetime. You don't deal with those issues later on, whether it's clippers or wash rack or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't really do it. That's just part of them.
Yeah. Now, are there any, good or bad stories or horses or clients or anything that stick out to you? Anything that, it could be, like I said, positive or negative.
Oh, wow. Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of stories.
Alexis and Kelly, obviously.
Well, I know since it's getting cooler, I always tell people, especially in the cooler weather, they like to wear jackets and long shirts and stuff. And if you have a horn on your saddle, you have to be very careful with that. Because if you don't have things tucked in, that thing can get kind of caught on the horn. So I was at a client's place one time, and she had a long shirt on, I guess. And I told her, hey, be careful with that shirt because it might get caught on your horn. And she goes, no problem. And so as she went to get off of her horse, guess what happened? Her shirt got caught on that thing. But it was good. Every button popped off. And she was embarrassed. But just little lessons, I mean, there are, the more you deal with horses, you can see good things and you can see tough things too, and that's one reason I think the vet direction didn't entice me as much, because usually you're seeing people, you can help people, which is great. But you're seeing people a lot of times at their worst, and the horse at their worst.
Yeah.
Because of those things. And plus, and I love to ride too, even early on. There's a little adrenaline thing, that I enjoyed. So, and, and even riding, we went to the Grand Tetons and got to ride up in the mountains. I got to
hear the story.
Oh, man, it was awesome. Well, it was awesome. And, my wife got to go. She's not a huge rider, but we got some horses out there. I was on a horse. It was almost 18 hands.
Wow.
Nobody else wanted to ride it. I said, I ride that horse. Come on, let's go. And, but just the things you see when you're kind of back, it's, you see things on a horse, because a lot of times, remember, we used to do a lot of trail riding, and I've ridden some in Colorado and different things, and you'll see hunters as you're coming out of the woods, and they'll say, the hunters would always say, I hadn't seen a deer all day, and we might have seen 12 or 15 on a horse, because the horse's hoofs don't spook them.
Yeah.
Like the stuff too. So, So that's, so yeah, we had a big time out there, and I'm sure we're going to go back at some time out that direction.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, but I've helped a lot of the vets, in that area. I've helped them sew. They might be the vet maybe by themselves, and I've helped Dr. Amanda a couple of times sew up horses.
Yeah.
I hold them,
Yeah.
because things have happened. And, and I would say too, especially the amateur, when we talk about amateurs, have fun.
Yeah.
Most people aren't going to the Olympics.
No, and that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in what the next show or the next this or that, or my horse isn't being perfect, but you ought to enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the horse and try, if you're not, take a step back and say, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
To help and to, get him going in a direction that you might want him going in, or get some help.
Yeah.
That's always good too.
Yeah.
And and there's nothing wrong with that.
No. No
because
shame.
I used to have, and especially on the bigger issues, whether it's trailer load or horses flipping over on you or all that kind of stuff, because those things can happen. And when I was giving lessons, I would always tell people too, if you ride, you're going to come off.
Eventually,
yeah. Sometime you're going to come off, and just hopefully you'll. But I think the horsemanship wise, if you can get your horse soft and listening, and you can move your back end around a little bit, that'll save you. And that saved me, and that's I think one reason that I've come off, but I haven't. I can count on my hand how many times I've come off in all these years.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm not a bronc rider.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Not on purpose, at least.
Right. And if I have to be, but I don't want to be.
Right.
So if I can get my horse ready before I even get on them, and then get them ready for, get above them, get on the fence, slide on them, bareback, just do those kinds of things. So it's not a huge deal once you get up there.
Yeah.
Usually they're going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And a couple of times, like I said, I've had a couple that, not many, there's usually once I get on them, they're ready. I kind of know, you kind of read them and I go, they can handle that. It's usually that first step. Once they take that first step, they're going to let you know, what's coming.
Yeah.
But if you can take that, my first step was always back leg under that, step underneath themselves.
Yeah.
And if they do that, a lot of times they can't ball up and go to town with you a lot of times. And then once I see, but a lot of times the first saddling, because I love a good round pin. Sometimes I want to see a little buck in them, just so they know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I'd rather them feel that without me than with me.
Yeah.
Too. So.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, I so much appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
We miss you so much.
I know we miss you so much.
Well, maybe
we don't say that. We don't say that.
No, not to make you feel bad.
Not to make you feel bad.
No.
We say it because we genuinely do love you so much, and we just
you had like this common presence for us.
Yeah. And like I said, it's so much more you're dealing with our anxieties and stresses
than the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can tell, horses pick up on that.
Yeah.
They pick up on that anxiety. And so you just kind of have to go in there and think, okay, today's a new day.
Yeah.
Let's be calm and, let's do some groundwork if we need to. And
so
kind of go from there.
So much of what you taught me with Sonny, and now with Ollie, like he loads on the trailer like a champion, like doesn't even. Cool. My friend was with me the other day. She was like, he loads like a dream. And I was like, Kevin Hunter. I'm like, everything. I mean, just the greatest mentor. And I just apply all the same things. And she was like, wow, that's so amazing. But
that's awesome.
It's cool. Once you learn it, and I feel we've both learned from you and apply what we've learned to, what we do every day. So
consistency is key. I'm not, without Kevin's reminder to be consistent, I will say
my groundwork is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the best.
Well, sometimes we don't want to take the time.
Yeah.
This is the time.
Yeah.
I want to get on my horse, but sometimes if you can just move them around, and I would say too, because I know we're talking about amateurs and stuff. I don't know if you can see behind me. I have a library of videos and of books and stuff before the internet. Okay, this is before.
Yeah.
And certain people that I watched, and I soaked it up. I mean, I love to learn.
Yeah.
And I think to be better, you got to be humble.
Yeah.
Because you can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
And I think if you can go to clinics, if you can go and hang out with people, being a musician's the same way. Hang out with people that know more than you do.
Yeah.
Just try to pick little nuggets up here and there. But I used to take my horses to clinics, even if they were broke, even afterwards, because there's always somebody that knows more than you do.
Oh, always.
And you can go and just, even if it's just, how to get my horse to stand still at the block, or how to, move him in towards you so I can saddle him, or, and in both my guys, I can ride bridleless, and,
so cool.
And everybody, because I'm riding off my seat.
Yeah.
Of course, in the Western world, you ride off your seat a little bit more than what y'all do, but still, they're smart enough to pick all that up.
Yeah.
And my deal is the reward is I don't get in their mouth.
Right.
So I'm always asking either through my voice or through my seat before I pull on that steel that's in their mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of more so that way, so I can get to that bridleless kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's a journey.
It's a journey.
It
Life
is a
is
journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It really
Maybe
is.
our motto should be the adult amateur trying to be consistent.
Yeah, trying our best to be consistent.
Yeah.
Always.
That must be the word for the day.
Consistency.
For sure.
Yes. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we appreciate you so much. And of course, I'm just going to go ahead and give the invitation. You can have a clinic at my house anytime.
Yes.
Okay. So the ring is done and ready for you anytime.
Awesome. Okay.
You want to come over?
Maybe in the springtime.
Springtime.
Yeah,
maybe we can do that.
Absolutely.
It'd be a good time to get everybody out and warmed up and ready for the new year.
Kidding.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're in hibernation mode now.
Yeah. We're done.
Yeah. It's getting there.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you so much, Kevin.
All right. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.